Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Lincoln Wheat Pennies, one of the most famous and most collected coins in American history. These old pennies may look like ordinary change, but many Lincoln Wheat Pennies are actually very valuable and can be worth far more than just 1 cent. If you have ever come across wheat pennies in your pocket change, in an old coin jar, or in a collection passed down from family, you could be holding something that collectors are searching for. In this video, I will explain why Lincoln Wheat Pennies are important, how they became such a big part of coin collecting, and why they are considered valuable treasures today. Make sure you watch this entire video from start to finish, because the details I share will help you understand the real value of wheat pennies and why these historic coins should never be ignored. First up, the most valuable 1945 Lincoln's Wheat Cent with no mint mark. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is one of the most fascinating coins for collectors of American cents. And in this video, we're going to look closely at why this coin is so special, why it is valuable, and why you should never ignore a 1945 wheat penny you find without a mint mark. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series has always been one of the most popular series of United States coins, minted from 1909 until 1958. And even today, collectors search for every variety, every year, and every mint mark. The coin we are focusing on is the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny that was struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark. And while many people think of it as just a common 1-cent coin, the truth is that these no mint mark pennies can be valuable depending on their condition, their history, and the demand from collectors. When we talk about 1945, we have to remember that this was the final year of World War II, a year of incredible change for the United States and for the world. The Philadelphia Mint produced a huge number of coins during this time, including the 1945 no mint mark wheat penny. But not all of these coins have survived in great condition. Many were used in everyday commerce, passed through countless hands, and worn down through circulation. That is one of the reasons why finding a 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark in sharp detail, with its original shine, or in excellent condition, can make it valuable today. Collectors love coins that connect history, rarity, and condition, and this particular year and mint fits all three. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was designed by Victor David Brenner, featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and growth. By 1945, the design was already well loved and recognized by nearly every American. But what makes the no mint mark version different is that it was produced only in Philadelphia, which did not place a mint mark on its coins at the time. So when you see a wheat penny from 1945 that has no small d or s below the date, that is the Philadelphia strike, the no mint mark wheat penny. While hundreds of millions were minted, not all of them survived the test of time, and that scarcity and high grade makes them valuable to collectors today. The real question people often ask is, why is the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark considered valuable? The answer lies in a mix of demand, condition, and collector interest. Collectors love complete sets, and if you want a complete wheat penny set, you cannot miss the 1945 Philadelphia strike. While the coin may seem common in low circulated grades, in higher grades it becomes scarcer, and the value goes up quickly. Many collectors will pay strong premiums for coins that have full details, strong luster, and no heavy wear. This is why you should always check the 1945 wheat pennies you have, because you may be holding a coin that is worth far more than a penny. Another reason these coins are valuable is their connection to history. Remember, 1945 was the year the Second World War ended, and the coins minted that year carry the story of a nation coming out of war and heading into peace. People value not just the coin as money, but the coin is a piece of history. A 1945 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just copper in design. It is a reminder of a turning point in history, a piece of everyday life from a time when the world was changing dramatically. This historical connection is one of the reasons collectors assign value to these coins. Now, let's talk about the composition. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, returning to the traditional bronze composition after the war. During 1943, pennies were made of steel due to wartime shortages, and in 1944 and 1945 the mints went back to copper alloy, often using recycled shell casings from the war effort. That means that your 1945 no mint mark penny may actually contain metal that came directly from World War II. This fact alone makes the coin more interesting and valuable to collectors who care about history as much as rarity. Even though millions were minted, the value today depends entirely on the specific coin you hold. A well-worn 1945 no mint mark penny may only be worth a few cents, but coins in better condition, coins with sharp details and little wear, can be worth far more. Collectors prize examples with full wheat stalks on the reverse and clear features on Lincoln's portrait. Some coins with bright red luster, preserved for decades without exposure to circulation, can bring strong premiums at auction. That is why we always say, never overlook a wheat penny, because the value might surprise you. It is also important to note that errors and varieties can add even more value to the 1945 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. Some examples show die cracks, double dies, or other striking errors that collectors are eager to pay more for. While not every coin will have these errors, it is always worth taking a close look. Even a small variation can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable collectible. This is another reason why you should carefully examine any 1945 wheat pennies you come across. Collectors often build entire sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies by date and mint mark, and the 1945 Philadelphia no mint mark is an essential part of such a set. If you are building your own collection, you cannot complete the wheat penny series without this coin. That means demand is always strong, and whenever demand is strong, value follows. Even if millions were minted, the collector market drives the value upward for coins that are attractive, well-preserved, and historically significant. Think about it this way. Every 1945 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny you see today has survived 80 years of circulation, storage, and history. That survival itself adds to the story and adds to the appeal. Many were melted, lost, or heavily worn down, and that is why the survivors in excellent condition are valuable. The coin in your hand might be one of the fewer high-grade examples left, and collectors are willing to pay for that rarity. So the next time you find a wheat penny dated 1945 with no mint mark, do not dismiss it as just another old cent. These coins are valuable pieces of history. They are a direct link to the past, and they are part of one of the most beloved coin series in American numismatics. Whether you are a beginner collector or an experienced numismatist, understanding the value of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark will help you appreciate why these coins remain so popular. And that is why we can confidently say, the 1945 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just an old coin, it is a valuable treasure. Watch carefully, learn the details, and always keep an eye out, because the next coin you find could be worth more than you ever expected. Next up, the ultra-rare 1951 Lincoln's Wheat Cent with the S mint mark. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark is one of the most fascinating coins of the Wheat Cent series, and today we're going to look very carefully at why this coin is important, why collectors search for it, and why the 1951 S Wheat Penny is considered valuable. Many people pass over these coins thinking they are just ordinary cents, but the truth is that a 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S mint mark from a San Francisco mint can be worth far more than just 1 cent. If you have one in your coin jar, in an old collection, or sitting around in change, you may already be holding a coin that collectors would love to have. That is why in this video we're going to go step by step through the background, the details, and the value of the 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Penny. And by the end you will understand why these coins are valuable treasures that you should never ignore. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series ran from 1909 until 1958, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse we see Lincoln's profile, and on the reverse the classic wheat ears symbolizing prosperity. By 1951, the wheat penny design was deeply established in American coinage, and millions were being struck every year across 3 mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. The San Francisco mint coins are always highly collected because they represent a smaller portion of the overall mintage, and that is what makes the 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Penny stand out. When you see that small S mint mark just below the date, you are looking at a coin with a story and with collector value. Now, the year 1951 was a post-war period when America was growing, the economy was strong, and coins were being used every day in huge numbers. The San Francisco Mint produced over 136 million wheat pennies that year, and while that sounds like a lot, many of them were heavily circulated, worn down, or lost. That means examples that survive today in high quality, with sharp detail and strong luster, are far more rare than people realize. And rarity in great condition is exactly what drives value in coins. A heavily circulated 1951 S wheat penny may only be worth a small premium, but in uncirculated condition, in brilliant red surfaces, or with strong eye appeal, these coins can become quite valuable. That is why collectors are constantly searching for better examples of the 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Penny. The coin itself was struck in the traditional bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish-brown color that collectors love. Over time, copper reacts with the environment, and that is why some 1951 S wheat pennies appear brown, while others still show a bright red luster. Coins with that original red shine are more desirable and much more valuable to collectors. If you ever come across a 1951 S wheat penny with brilliant red color and no wear, you may be holding a coin worth far more than you think. Another reason the 1951 S wheat penny is valuable is that collectors aim to build complete sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies by date and mint mark. To complete a collection, you need the 1951 Philadelphia issue, the 1951 Denver issue, and the 1951 San Francisco issue. Without the S mint mark coin, the set is incomplete. This creates strong demand for the 1951 S penny, even in average condition. But in higher condition, when fewer examples exist, the demand becomes even stronger. This is why the S mint mark version of 1951 is always in collector demand and carries value above face value. Let's talk a little more about value. Value in coins depends on condition, rarity, and demand. The 1951 S wheat penny in circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, but in uncirculated grades the value jumps significantly. Collectors pay attention to details, such as the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the definition of the wheat stalks on the reverse, and the presence of original luster. The better these details are preserved, the higher the value. In some cases, 1951 S wheat pennies in superb condition have sold for far more than their face value, making them valuable finds for anyone lucky enough to have one. That is why you should always check the condition of any 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Penny you come across. It is also worth noting that era coins and varieties can make the 1951 S Wheat Penny even more valuable. Some coins may show double dies, repunched mint marks, or striking issues that make them unique. Collectors of era coins are willing to pay significant premiums for these varieties. So if you have a 1951 S penny, look closely. That little S mint mark might even show doubling or repunching, which could increase its value dramatically. Another important factor in the value of the 1951 S wheat penny is its historical context. By 1951, the United States was in the middle of the Korean War. The economy was adjusting to post-World War II life, and coins were a part of daily transactions everywhere. Every 1951 S wheat penny carries that history. When you hold one, you are holding a piece of mid-20th century America, a coin that was used in stores, saved in jars, or placed in collections. Collectors appreciate coins that carry history, and that adds to the value of the 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Penny. Even though over 136 million were minted, think about how many survive today in collectible condition. Many were lost, melted, or worn away. That means the survivors in higher quality are truly valuable. When you find one with a sharp strike, with full details on Lincoln and strong wheat lines on the reverse, you have something worth keeping and worth showing to collectors. So why should you care about the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark? Because these coins are valuable, they are historic, and they are an essential part of the Lincoln Cent series. Whether you are a new collector just starting or an advanced collector building a complete set, the 1951 S penny is a must-have. And if you are lucky enough to find one in great condition, you may be holding a coin that is worth far more than you ever imagined. Collectors continue to search for the 1951 wheat penny because it represents more than just a coin. It represents history, artistry, rarity, and value. Every time you check your wheat pennies, pay close attention to that date and that mint mark. If you see 1951 with an S below the date, you have found a coin that deserves respect and deserves a place in any serious collection. That is why we say the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark is valuable. It may not look like much at first glance, but it carries history, demand, and collector interest that make it far more than just 1 cent. Hold on to these coins, study them carefully, and always remember, the 1951 wheat penny is a small coin with big value. Next up, the legendary 1952 Lincoln's Wheat Cent with the D mint mark. The 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark is one of those coins that might look like just another old cent, but when you take the time to study it closely, you discover that it has history, collector demand, and real value. In this video, we're going to explore exactly why the 1952 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is important, why collectors continue to search for it, and why this coin can be worth more than just 1 cent. Many people overlook these coins when they come across them in pocket change or in old jars of coins. But by the time you finish this video, you will understand why you should always look twice at any Lincoln Wheat Penny dated 1952 with that small D mint mark. These coins are valuable, and their story connects to American history, coin collecting, and the larger demand for the Lincoln Cent series. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series began in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's bust, a design that became the longest-running portrait on American coinage, and on the reverse, we see 2 stalks of wheat framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. By 1952, this design was already beloved by millions of Americans. The D mint mark represents the Denver Mint, which struck the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny in large numbers. But as collectors know, large mintage does not always mean low value. The 1952 D Wheat Penny can still be valuable because of collector demand, condition, and historical importance. In 1952, the Denver Mint produced over 746 million Lincoln Wheat Pennies, making it one of the higher mintages of the series. But here's the key. While many were made, very few survive today in pristine condition. Most went into circulation, were heavily used, worn down, and lost over the decades. That means that even though millions were struck, finding a well-preserved 1952 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is not as easy as it sounds. Collectors are constantly searching for examples with sharp detail, original mint luster, and attractive eye appeal. When you have a coin with those qualities, its value jumps far beyond face value. That is why the 1952 D penny is not just a common coin, but a valuable collectible. The composition of this coin is the traditional bronze alloy, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives the coin its classic red and brown tones. Collectors categorize wheat pennies by color, red, red-brown, or brown. A 1952 D penny that has retained its full red luster from the Denver Mint is significantly more valuable than one that is toned to brown through circulation. This is because original red luster is rare to preserve, and rarity drives value. So when you check your 1952 D wheat pennies, pay attention to the color and surface condition, because these details play a big role in determining how valuable your coin can be. Another reason collectors prize the 1952 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is that they are building complete sets. A complete Lincoln Wheat Penny collection includes every date and mint mark from 1909 to 1958. That means you need the 1952 from Philadelphia, the 1952 from Denver with the D mint mark, and the 1952 from San Francisco with the S mint mark. Without the 1952 D penny, your collection is incomplete. This drives demand, and demand always supports value. Even in average circulated condition, the coin has worth because collectors want to fill that slot. But in higher grades, the demand and the premiums go even higher. Now let's talk about errors and varieties. Era coins can turn an ordinary 1952 wheat penny into a valuable find. Some examples show repunched mint marks, die cracks, or double dies. A repunched mint mark, for instance, is when the small d was stamped more than once into the die, creating visible doubling of the mint mark. Collectors love these varieties, and they often pay strong premiums for them. This is why you should examine your 1952 pennies carefully. A small error could mean your coin is worth far more than face value. The historical context also adds to the appeal of the 1952 wheat penny. By 1952, the United States was in the midst of the post-war boom. The Korean War was ongoing, and America's economy was growing rapidly. Coins from this era represent a time of change and prosperity, and they are reminders of a mid-century America that is now part of history. Holding a 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is holding a piece of that history, a coin that passed through the hands of ordinary Americans in shops, schools, and homes during an important era. Collectors value not just the metal but the story, and the story of 1952 makes this penny valuable. Even though hundreds of millions were minted, most are gone, melted down, or worn to the point of being unattractive to collectors. That means the survivors in excellent condition are the true treasures. Coins with full wheat stalks, clear lettering, and no major marks or scratches stand out immediately. Those are the coins that collectors fight for, and those are the coins that carry real value. A single well-preserved 1952 wheat penny can bring far more than $1, $10, or even more, depending on grade and market demand. When you look at the coin, notice the details on Lincoln's hair and beard. Notice the clarity of the date and mint mark. Notice the strength of the strike on the wheat stalks on the reverse. These are the features that separate an ordinary penny from a valuable penny. If your coin has strong details, original color, and minimal wear, you are holding a coin that is valuable to collectors. And this is why we stress, never overlook a 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark, because its true value is often hidden until you study it closely. Collectors today continue to search through coin rolls, old change jars, and inherited collections for wheat pennies like the 1952 They know that within these coins lies potential value. Some may only be worth a small premium, but others in high grade or with special varieties are worth much more. The thrill of finding a 1952 penny in excellent condition keeps collectors searching, and that ongoing demand ensures that these coins will always remain valuable. So the next time you come across a wheat penny dated 1952 with a D mint mark, stop and think about what you are holding. This is not just an old copper cent. It is a coin struck over 70 years ago, a coin with history, a coin with collector demand, and a coin with real value. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced numismatist, adding a 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny to your collection means you are holding onto a piece of history that has value far beyond its original purpose. That is why we say the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is valuable. It connects history, artistry, and collector interest into one small copper coin. It is a reminder that even the smallest coins can hold great worth, and it shows us why coin collecting continues to inspire people around the world. The 1952 wheat penny is not just money. It is a valuable treasure waiting to be appreciated. Now, we'll explore the iconic 1953 Lincoln's wheat cent with a D mint mark. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark is one of those coins that looks simple at first glance, but once you start to study it closely, you realize it carries history, collector interest, and real value. In this video, we're going to talk in detail about the 1953 wheat penny, why collectors search for it, and why this small coin is considered valuable. Many people come across wheat pennies in old jars, inherited collections, or pocket change, and they pass them by as ordinary coins. But the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark from the Denver Mint is far more than just a copper cent. It is a piece of history, and depending on its condition, it can be a valuable collectible that is worth holding on to. That is why you should stay with me and watch this entire video, because we're going to explore why the 1953 wheat penny deserves your attention. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series ran from 1909 until 1958, created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse shows the portrait of Lincoln, and the reverse shows two wheat stalks around the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin became one of the most collected series in American history. By 1953, the wheat penny was in the hands of nearly every American every day. The Denver Mint struck the version we are discussing today, the 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, marked with a small D mint mark below the date. While millions were minted, collectors know that not all have survived in good condition, and that scarcity in high grades makes the 1953 D wheat penny valuable. In 1953, the Denver Mint produced over 700 million wheat pennies, a huge number by any standard. But over the decades, most of these coins went through heavy circulation. They were spent in stores, carried in pockets, and worn down in everyday transactions. Many were eventually melted, damaged, or lost. Today, finding a 1953 D wheat penny in average circulated condition is not difficult, but finding one in uncirculated condition with strong luster and sharp details is much harder. That rarity and high quality is exactly why these coins are valuable. Collectors are always searching for well-preserved examples of the 1953 D penny, and demand drives value upward. The composition of the 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used before 1982. This gives the coin its distinctive color, which can range from bright red, when freshly minted, to deep brown after decades of circulation. Collectors often describe coins as red, red-brown, or brown, and that color grading makes a difference in value. A 1953 D wheat penny that has retained its bright red mint luster is far more valuable than one that has darkened to brown. This is why condition matters so much, and why collectors pay attention to the surfaces and color of these coins. Another reason the 1953 D wheat penny is valuable is its role in building complete sets. Collectors love to complete Lincoln Wheat Penny collections by date and mint mark. That means they need the 1953 Philadelphia issue, the 1953 San Francisco issue, and the 1953 Denver issue with the D mint mark. Without the Denver coin, the collection is incomplete. This creates constant demand for the 1953 D penny, and even though it may be common in lower grades, higher grade examples are always in strong demand. The result is that the 1953 D penny always has collector value. Let's also talk about errors and varieties, because they can make the 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny even more valuable. Some examples show repunched mint marks, double dies, or die cracks. A repunched mint mark, often seen on Denver coins, happens when the D was punched into the die more than once, creating visible doubling or shifts. These error coins are highly collectible, and many collectors specifically search for them. That means if you have a 1953 D penny, you should look closely, because a small error or variety could increase the value dramatically. Now let's place this coin into its historical context. The year 1953 was a time of growth and change in America. Dwight D. Eisenhower had just become president. The nation was emerging from the years of World War II and the Korean War, and the economy was expanding. Coins like the 1953 D wheat penny were part of everyday life during this time. They bought groceries, paid for gas, and circulated through countless hands. When you hold a 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, you are not just holding copper. You are holding a piece of that mid-20th century American story. Collectors value coins for the history they carry, and the 1953 D Wheat Penny is a reminder of that era. Even though hundreds of millions were minted, the fact remains that survivors in top condition are rare. Think about how many were lost, how many were worn down to the point of being unrecognizable, and how many ended up destroyed. The few coins that remain in pristine state are the ones collectors compete for, and those are the coins that bring strong prices. This is why you should never dismiss the 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, because depending on its preservation, it can be worth much more than a penny. When you examine one of these coins, pay attention to the details. Look at Lincoln's hair and beard on the obverse, and see how sharp the lines are. Look at the wheat stalks on the reverse, and see if they are fully detailed. Check for luster, check for scratches, and check for marks. These details tell the story of the coin's condition, and condition is directly tied to value. A 1953 D penny in high grade with sharp details and red luster can easily be considered a valuable collector coin. Collectors today continue to search coin rolls, old collections, and inherited jars of change for wheat pennies like the 1953 D. They know that while many examples exist, only a small percentage are in collectible condition, and those coins have strong demand. This ongoing search is what keeps the 1953 D wheat penny valuable. The thrill of finding a high-quality example is what excites collectors, and that excitement translates into real market value. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you find a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark, you should not overlook it. Take a close look, because the coin you hold may be more valuable than you realize. Even if it appears worn, it still has collector demand, and in top condition it can be a small treasure. Every 1953 D wheat penny is a survivor from over 70 years ago, and that survival alone makes it significant. That is why the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark is valuable. It is not just another copper cent. It is history, it is rarity, and it is a collector's piece. Whether you are a new collector learning about wheat pennies or an experienced numismatist searching for high-grade examples, the 1953 D wheat penny is a coin that should never be ignored. It stands as a reminder of America's past and as a collectible that carries real worth today. Thank you for staying with me as we explored these Lincoln Wheat cents. Remember, every Lincoln Wheat penny, whether it is from 1909, 1945, 1951, 1952, 1953, or any other year, holds a story and a real place in American history. These coins are not just old copper cents. They are valuable collectibles, and many of them are worth far more than their face value. Lincoln Wheat pennies with no mint mark, with a D mint mark, or with an S mint mark are always in demand by coin collectors, and that makes them important to hold on to. If you ever come across a Lincoln Wheat penny in your change, in an old jar, or in a collection, make sure to take a close look. Even the common dates can be valuable depending on their condition, and rare dates or mint marks can be worth even more. The Lincoln Wheat cent series remains one of the most popular and most collected coins in the United States, and coins like the 1945 wheat penny, the 1951 S wheat penny, the 1952 D wheat penny, and the 1953 D wheat penny continue to attract strong collector interest. So, never underestimate these Lincoln Wheat pennies. They are pieces of history. They are valuable coins, and they are treasures that can still be found today. Keep your eyes open, because the next Lincoln Wheat cent you find could be worth far more than just 1 cent.